Dr. Avery Collins pressed her palm against the greenhouse glass, watching the Sethrak hunting party return through the crimson dust of their homeworld. The reptilian warriors moved with lethal grace, their scales catching the light of the binary suns. As the colony's xenobotanist, she'd been on Sethros Prime for 8 months, struggling to establish sustainable agriculture for the human settlement. A small crash echoed from the cultivation rows behind her. Avery turned to find Zeka, a Sethrak hatchling barely 3 seasons old, tangled in irrigation tubing. His crest flared in embarrassment as his forked tongue flicked nervously. "Careful," Avery said gently, helping untangle the small predator. "Your clutch mother will molt if you damage yourself before the proving." Zeka's vertical pupils fixed on her with unsettling intensity. Despite his youth, his jaws could already crush bone. Yet here he was, seeking her out daily, fascinated by her work. "Soft-skin Avery," he hissed, using the curious nickname the hatchlings had given her. "Why do you save dying plants?" Avery smiled, gesturing to a nearby workbench where several wilted specimens sat in recovery vessels. The Sethrak found her work baffling. On their harsh world, life was constant competition. Weakness meant death. Nothing was nursed, only conquered or consumed. "Which ones concern you, little hunter?" Zeka pointed a clawed finger at a native drought flower, its petals brown and curled. "My nest sister brought that for you. 3 days it has been dying. Why not throw it to the waste heap and take a strong one?" Avery lifted the pot carefully, examining the plant's base. The roots still showed white, still alive, still fighting. From her tool belt, she retrieved pruning shears and rooting hormone. "May I show you something?" The hatchling's crest rose in interest. Avery worked in silence, trimming the dead growth, treating the wounds, transplanting into fresh soil enriched with nutrients. Her movements were deliberate, practiced. The same hands that had once coaxed life from the poisoned soil of post-war Earth now tending to this single struggling plant. "Humans save things because we see potential," Avery explained, finishing her work. "When something is dying, we see what it was and what it could become again. We don't abandon it just because it's struggling." Zeka stared at the plant, his third eyelid blinking rapidly, a sign of confusion in his species. "But it is weak. Even if it lives, it will always be the one that nearly died." "Yes," Avery agreed. "But that struggle is part of its story now. It survived, and someone cared enough to help it survive. That makes it resilient in a way the others aren't." The hatchling's crest flattened, a gesture of deep contemplation among his kind. He picked up the pot, cradling it carefully, and scurried away without another word. For weeks later, Avery was analyzing soil samples when her comm unit erupted with alerts. "Dr. Collins," the station commander's voice crackled. "We have a situation. Multiple Sethrak transports requesting landing permission. Civilian vessels, dozens of them. They're saying it's about you." By the time Avery reached the landing field, ships were already touching down. What emerged made her breath catch. Not warriors or diplomats, but Sethrak families, adults and hatchlings alike, each carrying plants. Dying plants. Zeka bounded forward, his crest fully extended in excitement. Behind him, his clutch mother, a scarred hunter who defended 3 territories, held a massive specimen. An ancient blood tree, its bark split and weeping sap. "Soft-skin Avery," Zeka called. "We brought what we abandoned." The landing field filled with Sethrak, each carefully setting down their burdens. Avery walked among them, stunned. There were heritage blood trees from ancestral hunting grounds, ceremonial poison flowers used in warrior rites, children's learning plants that had taught generations to identify prey, medicinal herbs that no longer thrived, even a crystal moss that had grown in someone's hatching nest. Every specimen was dying or damaged. Every one had been important once. "We do not understand this human practice," Zeka's clutch mother said, her voice carrying the resonance of authority. "In our way, what weakens is left behind. The hunt moves forward. We do not tend the dying." She set down the blood tree with unexpected gentleness. "But the hatchlings have spoken of nothing else. Humans nurture what they value. We realized, her crest flattened. We have abandoned so much, cast aside so much, because we were taught that preserving weakness was shameful. Zeka pushed forward, holding up the drought flower. For weeks of growth had transformed it. New shoots reached upward, vibrant and strong. See? It lives. Even though it nearly died, it lives better. The field had gone silent. Hundreds of reptilian eyes watched Avery, waiting. She understood then. This wasn't just about plants. This was about memory, about a predator species learning that not everything must be conquered. Some things deserve to be saved. We'll need more supplies, Avery said finally, her voice thick, and more hands. Who among the settlement knows cultivation? Within the hour, the colony had transformed. Human botanists worked alongside Sethrak families, heads bent over dying specimens. The air filled with the scent of soil and growth medium, with quiet stories of how this blood tree had marked a territorial boundary, how that poison flower had blessed a bonding ceremony, how a hatchling 5 generations dead had tended this particular herb. Avery found herself working on the ancient blood tree. Its bark had split when Zeka's clutch mother had defended her nest against raiders. Rather than seal it completely, Avery stabilized it with biomesh, making the wound visible, a deliberate scar. Why not hide the damage? The warrior asked, watching intently. Because the damage tells a story, Avery replied, her hands steady. This split says your tree survived what should have killed it. Why would you hide proof of its strength? The Sethrak's crest rose slowly in understanding. By the time the work was done, the field resembled a garden of second chances. And still more ships came, carrying plants their owners thought they'd never see thrive again. Zeka found Avery as the twin suns set, painting the sky in shades of amber. The hatchling climbed onto her lap without asking, something unthinkable between their species a month ago. Soft-skin Avery, he whispered. We brought what we abandoned, but I think we abandoned more than plants. What do you mean, little hunter? We abandoned knowing that struggling things can still be precious. Zeka's claw, small but sharp, rested gently against her arm. Thank you for teaching us to see. Through the greenhouse glass, more ships descended through the dusk, their holds full of half-forgotten life, their crews ready to learn the human art of cultivation. And Avery understood that sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in claws or scales or conquest. Sometimes it was simply knowing that dying things deserve a chance to live.